Okay guys, so it is almost 1 p.m. and I haven't slept since yesterday. I'm sacrificing my sleep very often, and that's how I live maybe for the past 5 years. Do I think is it a good thing? Overall I think it is, but of course, as everything in life, there are some pros and cons. What's the reason that I've been sacrificing my sleep for the last 5 years? It was actually my goals, my dreams, and the fear. Now you may ask me, what type of fear? What type of fear can make you sacrifice your sleep? And that fear is the fear of missing out the life, missing out the best time, the best years of your life. Because up until maybe 22, I pretty much wasted all my life. And when I say I wasted all my life, I mean I wasted my life in the college, then in the university, from where I eventually dropped out. I wasted my life because of a very bad relationships that lasted for 5 years. And also wasted my life doing 9 to 5. And during all that time when I was wasting my time, I wasn't enjoying anything in my life. I was sleeping actually very well. I wasn't really stressed about very important things that I had to actually see. When you are sleeping on your dreams, when you don't fully recognize your situation, your position in life, you are not stressed at all because you don't recognize the importance. You don't recognize how fast the time flies. I am almost 26 now, and I find out all these 19, 18-year-olds who are already kind of achieved their dreams. They are driving a nice car, they are doing a business. And when I was 18, I was a very stupid person, actually. And I know that now you're gonna say that no one needs to focus on those social media people. And you are right. That's not for everyone. And there is one big reason for it, because some people may watch those videos and just fall into depression. Some people are not morally strong. Some people are very easily tend to give up. I guess that's not really something about me, something about you if you are watching this video. Because maybe you don't realize, but the reason you saw the title and you clicked on this video is because you're trying to achieve something in your life. And maybe you are lost. Maybe you don't know how to get out of a certain situation. And as you are on your first stage in achieving your goals, I want to say you congratulations. But you need also to realize that your bad days are coming. And when I say bad days, I mean the hard days that are gonna be followed by better days, and then even better. And the most difficult and most painful part of it is that you don't really know how long is it gonna take. So for some person it might take a year. For me it took 5. There is this very popular thing called Matrix that's now very widely spread on social media. And when you realize the meaning of the Matrix, the following realization after that is that you're in it. And believe me, there is nothing more difficult. Nothing is harder than trying to get out of that matrix, out of that system that just makes you go to your 9 to 5, makes you wake up early to start your work at 9 a.m. even though you want to sleep, even though you didn't have enough sleep yesterday. But the most thrilling part here isn't the process of waking up when you don't want to, is that you're waking up to go somewhere that you actually hate, you don't enjoy. But you are forced to go there, and people by nature don't like to do things that they do because they are forced to. See, in the beginning I said that I have sacrificed my sleep for the last 5 years. And when I say 5 years, I don't just mean sacrificing the sleep because of my business, but I also include the times when I was doing a regular 9 to 5. So when I was working for this hotel for 3 years, I was having mostly night shifts. So I'll say that I was also sacrificing my sleep during that time. And you see, every time in the morning when I was finishing my shift, I would have walked to home. And the reason I wouldn't take a public transport and I would just slowly walk to home is because during the last 9 hours I hated my life so much that every time I would step out from the hotel, I had the same feeling as like the prisoner was walking out from prison. It was about at the same time, after long shifts, long hours, finally seeing the sunlight, and at the time sunlight feels differently for you. Even though I have always been a night person, I didn't really enjoy daylight. I didn't really enjoy the sun. But after being locked up for 9 hours in a place that you actually hate, you are forced to go there because you have rent to pay, you have bills to pay, you have pay your university bill. So at the time there was really no way out but to go there. And another reason that I was sacrificing my sleep then is because when I went home and had a full sleep and then woke up, went to work again, I felt like I'm missing the whole life. And because it was a hotel industry, I always saw how people in my age, even younger, were having all this fun, all this joy every day. That was even draining because when you see a contrast, when you see the difference between your life and other people's lives, you think that's not fair. And if I go home and sleep, what am I gonna do in life that I can tell after? There is this common thing among 99% of people who have regular jobs. And I'm sure you have also noticed this when you are talking to someone who has been working for 20 or 30 years for the same company you are working for. Usually they are just telling you stories. As someone young, they just feel that you need to learn some stories. And when someone tells you a story, please pay attention to the story. It's always a story of someone else's life. It's not about their life, it's not about their crazy lifestyle, it's not about their adventures. It's all about the stories of other people that they just witnessed. Imagine like being 40, 50, 60-year-old and all your stories are about other people, about celebrities, about entrepreneurs, about business people that you just randomly met when you were at the work, servicing them. That's what I found very depressing actually. Because when I saw all their stories, I knew that after 40 years I'm gonna be them. I don't know about you, I don't know about other people, but I just simply couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep because of that thought. I thought, imagine if I'm gonna be them after 40 years, and during all those years, nothing is gonna happen. There is this very great quote that says, don't live the same year 75 times and call it a life. Because if you spend all years the same, that's when you are gonna say that life just flight when you are 80 years old. That's when you realize that life is very short for not taking risks, for not taking the important step. The step that might ruin your life or just take to the top. And of course I've had both of those steps. And most of the time, of course, it ruined my situation, but after all these years, after all these struggles, I will say that 98% of my struggles were actually worth it, just to achieve the 2% of success and correct steps that I did after failing too many times. That's when I actually started to feel fear about missing life, missing time, and that's when I gave up on my sleep. You see, I might now take some shit on my friends because I have friends who will sleep and they will not care about what they are missing out. I'm sure you also have some friends, or maybe you are one of them, that no matter where they are offered to go, no matter where they are invited, no matter what idea someone tells them to start, no matter what it is, they will just go and sleep. And usually the reason to sleep is because they've been awake for 12 or 14 hours. Believe me, when you felt the same thing that I felt, you will no longer count the hours that you are awake. It's quite the opposite. You now start to count the hours that you are sleeping, because that's actually the time when you are missing everything. The message of this video is maybe for those people who don't realize that they are spending too much time on sleep. Believe me, I have worked with many people who are wealthy. I have friends who are wealthy and none of them are sleeping well. Maybe they sleep well when they are 60, but when you are young and no matter how old are you, you feel that you have missed out too many things. For God's sake, please try to experience life. Even if you have a regular job that just drains out all your time during the day. I understand that you have this reasonable excuse of having a job, but believe me, after 5 years, when you might maybe have your own business or you are in a better position in your life, in your career, you will thank you later for sometimes sacrificing your sleep. Because when it's time to tell some stories to younger people or just your friends or someone you just met, you will realize that most of the stories are coming from the times and the days when you actually didn't sleep much. Look, like 99% of my stories were actually at night. All those stories took place at the time and in the place when I was supposed to be sleeping. But because I'm just trying to remind myself all those years that I was working 9 to 5, all those times when I was listening to other people's stories, that makes me just wake up instantly, even when I'm sleepy. I call it a coffee for a mind, when you don't have a coffee actually, but you are feeling the caffeine inside of you. Just because you have all this pain and all this experience coming from the past. So, live a life, even if it's gonna take you your sleep. You're young. Believe me, you have time for rest. But leave the rest for being a 60-year-old. You've got time. And by the time you're 60, you need to have enough experiences, enough stories that are yours actually, not others. So, live the life and have stories.